what's going on.
Today, I'm delighted to welcome Andy Allen, the CEO of Hike SEO. Welcome, Andy.
Thanks for having me, Claire.
I suppose, really, I should kickstart this chat, really, with the question, Is SEO dead?
Is SEO dead? Gone straight in, haven't you? Bloody hell. Is SEO dead? No. Search engine optimization is not dead. It's still an absolute bear moth. Is that how you say it? Behemoth is the better way of saying it.
I never know how you say it.
Behemoth. Yeah.
Machine.
It's huge. Yeah, it's absolutely huge. It's a beast. It took a bit of a, let's say, tiny little chip out of it with the introduction of LLMs, but it depends how you redefine SEO and what angle you're thinking of it from. I think dead is far too strong. Even for those where SEO has perhaps decreased in importance over the last few years, it's still probably the biggest channel. It's gone from being like 90% of traffic for a lot of business to being like 75 or whatever. Right? It's a chink, but it's still huge for everyone.
It's still a massive game changer if they get it wrong, basically, isn't it?
Yeah. And you still need to be there. You have to be there. Yeah.
I work with I have over the years, worked with a lot of SMBs. In particular, I've been working with the care sector at one point for a good while, and they have an absolute nightmare with their local, trying to get discovered locally. And it's all down to their SEO, depending on kind of what sort of website they've got. They struggle and they do not know the first thing about how to go around it. They're having conflicting advice from all over. I suppose your product, if you could tell us a little bit about Hike, because it's specifically marketed for the SMB market, is it not?
Yeah, it is. So I guess it's probably easy if I kind of put it in the context of the problem we're trying to solve, which is kind of what you said there, right? Is small businesses. And we really help micro-SMEs. So they're kind of like, whether it's a sole trader, got a few employees, or even got like maybe up to 8 or 9 employees, but micro-SMEs, which still make up like the vast majority of all businesses in the world. The problem that they have is that they really need leads and customers, because when they lose a lead or a customer, it can have a significant impact on their business. Speaking to a lot of SMEs, their biggest fear is, where's my next customer going to come from? Yeah. Right? If I lose a customer, where's the next one coming from? Right? And then the word marketing pops up, and that strikes fear into every SME.
How much is it going to cost me? How much is it going to cost me?
Yeah, I don't understand it. Exactly, right? Because they're all, all SMB owners start because they were an expert in something typically. They were doing something for someone else and went, I could do this myself. I can have a better quality of life and earn more money. But they're a specialist in something. And then they have to transition from being a specialist in something to being a specialist plus a business owner and learning all these other things, right? And lead generation and getting customers is one of those. And it's all right when you're getting referrals and stuff, but there's a point in which all SMBs get to where they kind of max out all their potential referrals and, friends and stuff like that. And they need to get leads. Google's the place. That is the biggest lead driving database platform in the world, right? For local based businesses. You're an accountant, you're a plumber, your customers are going to Google. So you got to be there. The problem though for micro SMEs is that they don't know how to get to the top of Google. So they have to hire an agency or an expert. The problem with that is that they're just too expensive for the majority of micro SMEs.
Do they charge then, Andy, typically, like for an SEO agency to go in and say, right, you've got all this wrong with your website and we'll do you an audit and you've got to do this, and this, and then we still can't guarantee that you'll get,
Yeah, absolutely. So the average local SEO cost, mean average, let's say, on the low end would be like £400 or £500 a month.
Okay.
If you're looking at, a good £5,000 plus investment per year on the lower end, but it can go well above that. We get business owners come to us all the time and they've had a quote for like £2,000, £3,000. And the quote doesn't even really, specify what they're doing. It's vague. And unfortunately, there are some bad actors.
I think they kind of feel a little bit, sometimes they can feel a little bit ripped off. Sorry to any SEO agencies out there watching this, but I do think that the clarity is just not there. It can be a little bit cloak and dagger, like you said. We'll do it on site, and then you've got off site, and then you've got technical, and they're like, what do you mean? I've just got a Wix website.
Yeah. And the Wix site said it had built-in SEO. So why am I having to do this, right? That's another thing, right? Those small businesses go, I don't need SEO because my Wix website, I bought it, I paid an extra £5 and it says it's got built-in SEO. And it's like, It doesn't quite work like that. Yeah. So yeah, like, so that investment, and even the really good ones that are charging £500 a month, right? And the reason they have to charge that amount is because SEO takes expertise and skills. Yeah, they've got to hire staff, train staff, and they've got to do the work. So that costs the agency money. They've got overheads. So it's very hard to deliver an SEO campaign, a good one, on a local basis, for less than like £500 a month. So it's not even that they rip them off. It's just it's very hard for them to do anything else.
Yeah, I just don't think that they understand the value of what they're doing with all this SEO work, because they say, well, I think, you need loads of content and you need backlinks and your local SEO is different to the national SEO.
Yeah.
It's just so confusing. I can honestly say from the hundreds probably of business people that I've spoken to, owners that I've spoken to over the years, are definitely in dire need of a simple solution to this, just so that they can sleep at night and think, I'm not, or so they don't have to spend so much on ads, because the ads are ridiculous. They're getting so expensive now.
Yeah, we run ads, and we're in a place where we've been going for a long time, and we've had investment and we're slightly bigger, and so we can run ads, but you see the rising costs of clicks, and it's crazy, and it's just going one way. Like, it's just going up and up, and we get a lot of people that come to Hike and that need help in this area because they just can't see a future where their business remains sustainable whilst just relying on paid ads, because it's just too expensive. And paid ads are great, but all they're doing is they're getting your visibility on Google. So it's like, you really need to find another way to get visible on Google where you're not paying per click. And that's why SEO is so powerful. That's why it's like, you're getting there, but you're just not paying per click. So it's like, it's so much more sustainable for a micro SME.
But so difficult to achieve. So difficult for them to achieve right now. I know. So let's say, for example, we use tools like SEMrush, or you can use good old Ubersuggest, or those kind of things.
Yeah.
But your average business owner doesn't have time to spin that many plates. SEMrush has got a learning curve to it. And while it's great, it can give you the cost per click or give you ideas for keywords, what your current, what the strategy is for your competitors and so on. Just, how would your solution deal with that kind of complexity in the SEO?
Yeah. So the reason that we exist is because those other tools exist. So the reason we actually first came up with the idea of Hike was because we were on Accelerate. Me and the business of a founder called Kieran, we were on the start of Accelerate years ago. We were SEO consultants in our previous life, and we built this SEO software. So not Hike, it's one before. And then other business owners were coming up to us and said, you're the SEO guys. Like, can you do our SEO? And we were like, no, we've got a business to run. We want to grow our own business. We haven't got time to be doing SEO. We want to move away from that. That's why we're starting a software company. And they were like, can we use your software? And we're like, no, not really. It's built for agencies and people that know SEO. And they were like, but that's the same with all the other software. Like, they're like, we've tried to use Moz, we've tried to use SEMrush, everything. They're like, but we just couldn't use it. It was a waste of money. We paid $100, didn't know what we were doing. It's a waste of money. And then it kind of a light bulb moment. We were like, this is a market who are underserved. They need a software, but they need a software built for them, right? They need a software that's built to enable them to do SEO, because they can't do it using your SEMrushes, because they're database tools. We call them database tools, right? They'll give you all the data in the world, which when you apply the knowledge of an SEO expert, so someone's been working SEO for a long time, they've got the knowledge to interpret that data into the action to be able to execute SEO on someone's website. If an SME owner goes and uses one of those software, they look at the data, but they don't have that prerequisite knowledge and frameworks to apply that data into what to do. So we were like, let's build a software that just does that. Don't give them the data, just give them exactly what they should do based on that data. And that's how we built a software that then enables small businesses to do SEO, solving the problem of them not being able to afford expert agencies, £500 a month, because it's a software cost. And it solves the problem of them not knowing what to do because the platform just tells them what to do. That was that kind of that's what we've been doing kind of for the last 6 years.
Yeah. What kind of take-up have you had on it? What have you found is your kind of critical mass sort of business in the last 6 years? What sector have they been in?
I'd love to say like it's customers in this location, in this industry that do this. But you look at our customer base, either from a sign-up rate or even those that are like the real top 10% of like successful users that have had the best results. And it's so varied. Like, it'll be a dog groomer in Brisbane, or like
Brisbane, Australia.
yeah, Brisbane, Australia. Yeah, or it'll be like a wedding photographer in Warwickshire, or it'll be, I don't know, a children's hairdresser in Vancouver.
Ran.
Because yeah, completely random, right? Because this is kind of a blessing and a curse for Hike because of how the nature of SEO. What it takes to help, a hairdresser in Vancouver or a dog groomer in Brisbane get to the top of Google is the same because Google's algorithms are pretty much the same, right? So the same best practices that help that dog groomer get to the top is the same as helps a hairdresser, and it's also by country, right? So that's why we have customers in like 70 plus countries because what it takes for a dog groomer in England to get to the top of Google and what it takes a dog groomer in Brisbane to get to the top of Google is the same. So our software kind of helps so many SMEs in any industry, pretty much any country, English speaking is the one we target, that it means that we have such a variety of a customer base. But that's great because it means we can just help so many. We're more just our critical mass is just that micro SME owner, that sole trader to 5, 6, 7, 8 employees, the one that's so busy, no time to do SEO really. They need something really easy, simple, haven't got much money. That's
Yeah. And so in terms of growth then, I mean, how much of the market do you want and how can you get it?
I mean, it's greedy. It's greedy to, even like a couple of percent like penetration rate is like millions, right? So at the moment, our customer base is we about 45% of our customers are in the UK, 45% are in the US, and then the remaining 10% is across Australia mainly, then a little bit of New Zealand, South Africa, Ireland. Canada's fairly big, but still tiny, right?
Oh.
It's any English speaking country, basically.
Yeah.
And that you look at stats like the size of the micro SME market, and it's just ginormous. Like it makes up like 95 in absolute numbers, 95% of all businesses.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I think, what our platform does and how it helps, and I think where we're going with our platform as well, I think we have the opportunity to help millions upon millions of small businesses across the world because they all have this same. There are so many that have this problem that we want to help and, improve our product to help them because it's a perennial problem that is as rife now as it was 6 years ago when we started or 10 years before that, right? It's the problem that's never gone away.
It keeps them up at night. It keeps them, the amount of conversations I've had in marketing strategy and they come in and go, why am I not number one at Google? Why are we not doing this? Why are we not doing that? So, well, can I ask you, there was a helpful content update that was probably 2 years ago, is it now? Something like that, maybe a bit. Yeah. When Google gives you these surprises and these updates and it says, right now, we just want to know about, we're going to prioritize sites that give clear TLDR kind of, mapped out pieces of information. Does your software take into account those kind of random updates that it chucks out frequently?
Yeah, I mean, Google is less specific now about the algorithm updates that roll out and specifically what it does. So in the earlier days, right? So when I used to start in SEO, like they would roll out an update and they would tell you exactly who it helps and who it hinders, right? Down to the T. It'd be like, this is an update based on duplicate content. This is an update based on link building of this type, or this is an update based on local or whatever it is. As the years have gone on, they've become a lot more vague in terms of their communication, right? It's expertise, authority, trustworthiness, right? They eat. And then there's the double E. Or it's helpful content update. HCU, like they're very generic in terms of their language now. It's provide great content that helps your users.
Yeah.
There are specifics, but it's less so. And one of the reasons being is because a lot of their algorithm now isn't really handwritten as such, right? It's not, a team going, we need to specifically promote these and penalize these. It's, they've got AI integration, right? That's analyzing millions upon millions. It's correlations. And they're rolling out updates based on what the AI recommends as correlations. So it's not specifically, if they do this one thing, it's bad. And if they do this one thing, it's good. It's just following general rules. And that's the sort of thing that we help customers with, right? There are specific trends, but on the whole, it's more trend. It's more just your general, sounds really lame. And people don't really understand this because people think Google's algorithm changes so much. It doesn't change. Its core fundamentals doesn't, right? 80% of that you'll get you to the top of Google is based on the same 20% of fundamental stuff you need to do to your website. And that same 20% fundamental activities were the same 10 years ago as it is now, right? Just like really good keyword optimization,
Your keyword.
really good original content that's not duplicated, really good authority, right? Really good presence across the net. There's more specific things that, your mobile friendly, your page speed, etc. These more specific things.
Cool stuff. So your software advises, or does it scan the website and then does it do it automatically, or what? Currently, how much time would a business owner have to spend using the software?
Yeah. Great question. So there's a few parts to the software because it needs to be a bit more holistic than more feature driven. Because our goal is to help a small business owner to do their entire SEO through it. And when you think of what an entire SEO is, you go to an agency, what do, right? First, they have to build a strategy for you. Right, review your competitors, look at top keywords. Who are your ideal customers? What kind of keywords are they searching for? What short tail, long tail keywords are they doing? What are transactional, not transactional?
Yeah.
Where's the competition? What kind of sites, content is needed? So you build that strategy, right? And then you would then look at, okay, what's the current state of play, right? So that is, crawling your website. What's the current state there? What are the opportunities, the technical limitations, the current content? What are the problems? What are the issues? What are the opportunities? What are the competitors doing? What are the SERPs doing? You're gathering all the information. And then from there, you have to execute. You have to then decide what changes to make and make the changes based on the data and the state of play. Do a bit of a gap analysis and make the changes. And then you need to then track performance, right? You need to go, right, okay, what's working, what's not working? What do we go back again and refine and change? That's just a general thinking exercise. And it's nothing specific to SEO. It's just, but that's how we built the platform, right? Because we had to make sure it covers all those areas. And, historically, it's always the customers have done all that themselves. So they've gone into the platform. We've built really simple, easy to use tools that enables them to do those things themselves without having to be an SEO expert, without having to use a SEMrush to do it, which is just far too complicated.
It is. It's very complicated.
Yeah, exactly right. So our customers would on average, spend maybe 2 to 4, maybe maximum if it's competitive, maybe 8 hours a month in the platform. But 2 to 3 hours would be the kind of minimum that people would be spending and getting results. Because a lot of our customers are local service-based businesses. So they're just trying to rank for their particular service in maybe their town, state, county, and within 30 miles.
Yeah.
And competition is always lower there. And that's a benefit for micro-SMEs.
It sounds like a little bit of a godsend, to be honest with you, for a lot of people. But still, like 2 to 3 hours a month, you could, with AI, everything that's going on now, and this is an AI podcast at the end of the day, how can you see AI helping with your business in particular? Is there any way to reduce that 2 to 3 hours a month? Because 2 to 3 hours a month, it adds up over the course of the year. It's 20 odd hours a year.
Yeah, 100%. And almost in a way, because it's only 2 to 3 hours a month, it's always at the bottom of the to-do list.
Yeah.
It's the thing that is actually hard to get around to.
That's right.
In a way, it's almost like, no, you have to invest 20 hours a month, and then they do it. But, some kids say little, right?
Critical.
Yeah, you think by reducing the amount of time, it means they'll use it more. But actually, counterintuitively, sometimes you want it to be more, right? But ultimately, what you really want to do is not got them to do it. If I were to ask every single one of our customers that uses our software, do you want to be doing your own SEO? Do you want to be logging into Hike every week, every couple of weeks to do these changes? They all go no, right? But it says they have to because they can't. They have a problem, they have a need, and the current solutions they can't afford, and this is the best solution for them. That gives them a chance for their business not to die and get leads, right? But they don't want to, right? And we have a product actually where a member of our team will use the software for them, right? Because the software is end to end, right? You can do it whole small business's SEO from strategy to data to the execution. You can hire our team to actually do that, and they will manage the tool for you and they will do your SEO for you. The issue that we kind of run against there is we're not really solving the problem that we're trying to solve, right? And we're not aligning with the mission. But that kind of changes with AI. And I think this is, if I just move myself away from Hike for a minute and just think about the software industry as a whole, where I see the future of software and the opportunity is not to make better software using AI. Right? And I think this is a trap that a lot of software companies are doing at the minute. They're using AI to make their tools better, to make them easier to use, to make them more engaging, more addictive, all of that stuff. I'm like, I think that's the wrong way to look at AI. The value of AI, especially for maybe more so for our audience, which is micro-SMEs, and there aren't any other software companies really helping those, because it's hard. We took a big bite to chew. I don't know the phrase, but the value where AI is don't make the tool easier to use. Get the AI to use the tool on behalf of the customer.
That's magic.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't hire an expert to use this software. Don't hire an agency that will use their own software. Don't hire one of our team to use the software. Get the AI to use the software for you. And that AI, the benefits of AI is it's a lot smarter than us, right? And when it's fine-tuned and trained, it makes no mistakes. It can analyze data better, and SEO is very data-driven. It can execute instantly if it's got the access to do that. It doesn't have sick days. It doesn't need holidays. You don't have to pay PAYE or national insurance, right?
Get a spiral now, yeah.
Yeah, right. All these things.
Get a...
Yeah, you don't need HR for them.
Yeah. You don't have to leave early. There's none of...
Yeah, you have to have awkward performance reviews or PDP.
The list is endless. I mean, why
Honestly,
employed?
why do we hire staff? I'm joking. I'm happy.
Yeah, it's so true. But on a serious note, I guess it's kind of, well, there's a little bit of a glint in your eye. Maybe it's a watch this space kind of situation, I'm guessing, with your software.
Yeah. Well spotted, Claire. Well spotted. We without giving too much away, I think we very much see that as the future of software, right? Is the future of AI and the value is the agency it provides and the expertise it's going to give to small businesses in a cost-efficient way, right? Small businesses, it's very expensive to hire an expert SEO. It's very expensive to hire an expert lawyer, an expert accountant, an expert general marketer, an expert video person, right? Really expensive. That's why bigger businesses win, because they can afford that.
That's so true. Yeah.
But AI is going to level the playing field, because now suddenly SEO may be a case in point, right? The first one is like you can have expertise that would cost you 50, 60, 70 grand a year to hire for the price of a software. And the software is very, very cheap, right? £100 per month or whatever the cost may be. So yeah, keep an eye out. I think this is where the future's going on. We want to really be one of the first of the party to kind of show this and show it applying in a practical way. This is how AI can be used in a practical way to help small businesses.
And actually making a huge difference. And so just on a kind of final note, any small business using Hike in any of its formats, could they expect then to hit the coveted number one spot on Google?
Could they expect to? The thing about a lot of SEO agencies and software is you can't guarantee position one, because there are so many variables. And the process of SEO and search engine optimization is to identify through correlation, really, and causation, you can show, but the things that move the needle the most, right? Now, there are things that our software will help, and whoever's to do that can help you on the best practice. But there are going to be things that Google are going to review that are going to help you get to top Google, which no software can help with, which is the credibility of that business, the quality of their reviews, how their expertise, right? How they demonstrate that. Google tracks so much. No software, no SEO agency, no expert can guarantee you that, because that's down to the quality of their business. And Google are looking at other things other than, there's like however many ranking factors. So no, you can never do it. You can guarantee progress, right? And improvement, right? To hit your potential limit. Because if you're doing everything that you could possibly do from an SEO, which the software will help you to do, then you're going to hit the potential of what you can, including those other factors that are outside of the software's control.
Perfect.
Yeah.
It sounds absolutely spot on. It's exactly what they need, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Andy, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been a huge eye-opener for me. And I know there'll be a lot of businesses kind of, thinking, thank God, because I think you're a little bit of a well-kept secret, if I'm going to be honest.
SEO's best kept secret?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, for sure. But maybe just longer. Yeah,
kind of don't want to be so much of a secret. I think, well, we're going to be doing a lot over the next month. We've got a big launch webinar coming up at the end of this month. Head over to our website, follow our social channels. Yeah, follow me, and keep an eye out. But yeah, it's great being a secret, but we'd rather not be a secret.
Amazing. Okay. Thanks so much, Andy. And I will definitely be along to the webinar following your relaunch.
Cool. Well, thank you for inviting me onto the podcast, and best of luck with your podcast.
Thank you very much.
What in the AI is going on?